What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, a huge thanks for coming back. We really appreciate you. So today we're going to be finishing the rear end of the Squarebody build of Dirty Girl. We're going to be doing the shock mounts and installing the King piggyback shocks, which I'm super excited about. I'm also going to be talking about my Shining 3D scanner, my Einstar model, because I've been getting asked a few questions about it, so I want to go over it real quick. So let's get right to that. Okay, guys, so just in case you missed that video, this is my Shining 3D scanner, my Einstar. And honestly, this thing is amazing. It's probably one of the better tools that I have bought, and I'll show you why here in a little bit. But I mean, this thing is super useful, especially because like it doesn't completely break the bank. I bought this thing during their Black Friday sale, and I believe I got it for about 850 bucks. And I know that sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but a more professional level scanner probably starts more like around $8,000. So this is more geared towards hobbyists, and then kind of guys like me that aren't going to be scanning every single day, but you do work on the computer, quite a bit. So again, I've only scanned one thing, honestly, but just from this one experience, I can tell you that pretty much everything that I'm going to do, I'm going to start scanning things with this because it's amazing. And let me show you why. This right here is the model that we scanned of the rear half section of Dirty Girl, of the Squarebody. And these are the brackets that we made using that scan. Now, the cool thing about these brackets is that these brackets, I only had to cut them once. My usual process before when I was making parts like this is that I would usually like go to the frame, take a whole bunch of measurements, make some templates out of cardboard or stuff like that, and then try and transfer those templates and those measurements and everything to the computer, and then try and build my parts around that. So now with this, I literally just had to build the part around the model on the computer, and then go and cut them out and weld them together. And then when I threw them on the frame, they fit exactly like they did on the model, which is amazing, which saves so much time and money and wasted materials and stuff like that. And it just makes it a lot faster. And again, everything that I make now is going to be made with scanning something like this, because it just saves, like I said, so much time and so much money by being able to just go ahead and scan whatever I got to build off of and then just build around it. It's such a huge time saver, and I want to definitely get better at this. But anyways, this is what we're going to be building today: a shock mount for that King on the frame side, and then we're also going to be doing one on the axle side of it. So let's get right to that. Okay, guys, so not sure where we left off on the last video, but as you can see, we've got the Divers, we've got the Kings on this truck, and they're looking freaking fantastic. I'm actually really happy with the way that everything's turning out. And I guess let me show you the setup a little bit better. But we've got the top side bracket that I showed you earlier fabbing, and that's actually working out pretty good. And then for the bottom side, we have this other bracket that we made. That's for the axle. That actually ended up turning out really well. I was able to make this thing out of one piece, and bend it on the press brake, and it turned out really, really well. I do want to get different tooling to make slightly tighter radiuses in this, but I'm still really happy with the way that it turned out. So this is going to be for the other side. But as you can see, we've got that bracket on the axle. It's not tacked in place or anything. It's just held in with that clamp. That's probably really annoying. So anyways, we have the bracket just clamped in place with the clamp, and we have everything marked where it needs to go. And the reason why it's not welded yet is because right now I just gotta lay everything out and figure out exactly where I want everything. And then we're actually gonna pull the axle back out and then cut off those old mounts, and then cut off the mounts, clean up that area, and then weld our mounts where we want them. But man, this thing is looking freaking badass. I'm actually really happy with the way that it's looking. So now that we have this side on, we're actually gonna go ahead and put the other side on, and like I said, get everything figured out exactly where it needs to go. And like I said, on a later day, we'll go ahead and pull out the axles and actually weld those brackets on. But that's probably not going to be until this weekend when Sherman's in to weld. I'm actually really happy with the way that it's looking. I think it's going to be pretty epic once it's fully done. Pretty freaking cool. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead, put the other mount and the other shock on the other side, get everything laid out, make sure that it's in a place where we like it, and then that'll be pretty much it for this, for the rear end of this truck. So definitely pretty happy with the way that everything's turning out. Oh, another thing is that I did move this to the all the way back hole, I guess, and now our axle is pretty much perfectly centered where it needs to be. So that is definitely pretty good. I think on the next rendition of these brackets, if we end up selling the brackets, I've been asked if I'm going to be selling these brackets. Probably, but I think we're going to need another truck to kind of test all the brackets on to make sure that everything fits right, even with stock springs. So because these are Devers, so like I said, I'll have to kind of test them on another truck with regular Super Duty springs to make sure that they fit. And then these would be like the 08 plus springs, so the 08 through 16, because I think the 17 plus are different too. So but yeah, but anyways, once we do the next rendition of these brackets, we'll probably do it so that they're shifted one hole over, so that the center one is there. Like otherwise, everything's actually working out really well. I'm really happy with this, and I'm just glad that once we have all of this figured out, we can go ahead and move on to the front and start getting the front end figured out, and hopefully get this truck done pretty soon, because even though I like it a lot, I really want to start focusing on getting it done and getting it back to my buddy, because I know that he misses it. So yeah, and then we just gotta start working on OBS trucks again. We're basically gonna be doing all of this to my truck. I know that I've been hinting that we're gonna be doing a lot of work to the truck. We're basically gonna order a set of Devers, set of Kings. My buddy Cody from TSW is trying to convince me to go with Foxes, so we might do Foxes, I don't know, but it's going to be a very similar setup to what this truck is running. So we're going to be doing our own hangers, front and rear, and then I'm probably for sure going to be doing shackles for my truck. I still got to see if these will work with this truck. If not, we'll make shackles for this one, and then they'll probably work on my truck too. But yeah, definitely really excited about how this thing's going. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead, get the other side done, and then I'll show you everything put together. Okay, guys, and just like that, we got this thing fully almost put together. But we've got both shocks on, and man, they look freaking fantastic. So they're actually quite a large, I guess, shocks. They're 14-inch travel shocks, and essentially the way that I did this is we have 7 inches of that shaft exposed at right height, which is more or less where it's going to be at right now. So that means that this thing has 7 inches of down travel and then 7 inches of up travel, which is more than this truck I think we'll ever see. But again, a really cool shock. It's got the adjuster for the rebound, I think, or compression, one of the two. I think it's compression, actually. Yeah, it's compression. But you can make it softer or stiffer. So again, really cool setup, and something like this, more or less, is what's going to be going on my truck. And like I said, we've got plenty of room between the leaf spring and the shock in the axle. So again, like I said, overall, I'm really happy with the way that this whole thing turned out. And again, like I said, the bottom bracket, the axle side brackets are just clamped in place because the axle is going to be getting taken back out and getting those OEM brackets cut off and then the new ones welded in place. And then at that point, as far as the big stuff on the rear, it will be done. The last couple of things that we got to finish on the rear is obviously getting the brakes situated properly and then drive shaft and all that stuff. But other than that, like brackets and all that big stuff is pretty much done. So definitely pretty happy with the way that everything is looking. And I don't know, like I said, my buddy says the Foxes are better, but like the Kings, I mean the Kings are Kings. Like, just look at it. They look so freaking awesome. I actually really like the blue and all that stuff. Again, like I said, really excited to have a similar setup in my truck, and I really like the way that it looks. I wish that we could do the outside of the frame on the OBS trucks, but I don't think we could get it to work on an OBS unless we mounted it like on the leaf or something. But again, really happy with the way all of this looks. The only other thing we could have done is maybe like put the shock up further up, but I don't think it needs to. I think it's pretty good where it's at. Again, definitely super excited about the progress on this thing. And like I said, I can't wait to have it done and back to my buddy. It's gonna be a freaking awesome truck once it's done. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be the video for this week. Again, leave a like, leave any comments that you might have down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.